I'd like to call the Common Council meeting to order on September 7th. It is approximately 6:04. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Frankie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Clerk Treasurer Parthun.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Present.
Councilman Vincent.
Present.
Councilman Galloway.
Here.
Councilwoman Konechny.
Present.
Councilwoman West.
Here.
Councilwoman Cutler.
Present.
Councilman Frankie.
Here.
All present.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We'll now move to petitions and comments of citizens. First, Bert Cook, I'm going to ask you to come for public comment, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good evening to the council. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. I'm very pleased to be here tonight and to be able to introduce Eric Nelson, who this is his first day with us at LEAP. Eric is now going to be the Workforce Development Coordinator. We were able to hire him as part of a generous grant from the Howmet Aerospace Foundation. So Eric's going to be focused on bringing workforce options to our local employers, and I know he's excited to get started. We're happy to have him as part of the team.
Eric, would you like to say a few words just to put you on the spot right off the
Yeah,
bat?
absolutely. It's good to see everybody. I know I recognize some of you. This was a great opportunity. I was born and raised in LaPorte, and seeing all the growth that's happened, from the time I was in college and different areas of the state and the country, coming back here and being able to be a part of this and help make an impact. So, other kids like myself can grow up here and have good experiences and make this their home.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Mr. Cook, I just want to add, the one part that we're doing differently this round is every year, for years, everybody across the country, communities, look at workforce as a whole. They diagnose the problem and nothing ever changes. And I think this time, we have an opportunity working with CWI out of Valparaiso, and Lisa Doherty, the new executive director there, about really dialing in to find out what is keeping people from working every day versus just assuming it's, the federal government money that people are giving, or people are lazy, or they won't show up every day, and really dialing in. And Bert, do you want to give just one brief example using Monroe Manor of what our plan is and what we're doing?
Yeah, Mayor, so very interesting. We've started this process, as we often do, with looking at how the data shapes out. One of the things that we found very early on looking at that data is that you have a very large number of female working age women who are not working in that particular area, and it connects or corresponds with at least our hypothesis is a lack of childcare that is also available in that area. And so by identifying those two different data points, I think we've made a connection with what the issue is. And so we were able to move from identifying that issue to trying to solve the problem or provide additional options in the area that will hopefully allow for people who would like to get back into the workforce that opportunity. So that's just one initiative that we're working on, but I think there is quite a bit within that data that we can glean from it and make some other inroads in bringing more people back to the workforce.
But our goal is we're going to them in Monroe Manor. We have about a 2-hour meeting set up coming up soon to talk, to listen, and with the YMCA, with their child care program, to see what we can do to help people get back to work in that age 20 through 60, where only 45% of the women in Monroe Manor are working right now. And I think the number was, 400 to 600, somewhere in that range, that are not working, and if you could find 20%, 10% of those people, it'd be very helpful right now.
It was significantly higher than any other area of the city or surrounding areas. So it's definitely an issue there, and it's something that we're excited to get to work on right away.
Thank you. Questions? Good luck to you. We wish you well.
Thank you.
We also have a comment from Brian Cager, and again, state your name and address for the record, please, and personal cell.
I'm sorry, oh, yeah, sure, if you want it, I mean, it's there, but, hi, Brian Cager, 406 Easton Street, LaPorte. It's been a while, obviously, I haven't been here, you guys have been here, but poor planning on my part, and summer's been busy. However, my first comment is, thank you to Jerry, with the work and the city for actually working on Monroe Manor. Over time, I've owned a couple properties there and still own my mother's house, so it's finally progressing forward, which is wonderful. Then the second part is, about 5 years ago, 4.5, whatever it was, when I started coming to all the city council meetings, not counting last like month or two, I asked the city council then, like, we have 7 lakes or whatever in our city, how come we don't promote ourselves like a lake community? So now we're promoting ourselves like a lake community. And I hope that there is plans or things in the works to monitor that lake community now. Because personally, I'm getting tired of sitting on Stone Lake policing the Illinois people speeding across Stone Lake. They have no idea that it's a wake or a no lake wake 5 miles an hour, even though there's a sign at the tunnel and a sign at the launch on Stone Lake. Or they just don't care. So I'm asking the city, obviously summer's over now, but I mean, we got maybe a few weeks left, the city to work with the county on both Pine Lake and Stone Lake to police it, write tickets all day long, because eventually they'll get the idea. And I'm not joking. They literally sit there from the boat launch to the tunnel all day long, wave runners, boats, jet boats, you name it. This last weekend, some guys pulling a tube out there. Like, there's nobody out there to police Stone Lake. So if we're gonna live the lake life, we need to enforce the whole idea of the lake life. And then the other part is Pine Lake. Again, and I hope there's things taking place to grow the whole entire lake environment. But over the past couple of years, when the economy was great, more boats were coming out on Stone Lake anyways, or on Pine Lake anyways. The seaweed or lakeweed is just horrid. And propellers aren't enough to keep chopping it up. We chop it up and then it ends up on the shoreline. And it's just getting worse and worse. So again, I understand it takes a while to grow this type of stuff, to make it all happen. But I hope that there's something in the plans or in the big picture that somehow we can maintain the seaweed. Because if we're gonna live the lake life and promote our lakes, we should have beautiful lakes, not beautiful center lakes and all kinds of seaweed on the shore. Ready?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And I would like to apologize. I was kayaking Sunday in Stone Lake, and Jackie and I and fell asleep and kind of ran into a boat. So that was on us in the middle of the lake, and we need to stay awake. Yes, to monitor that a little bit better. So I will take responsibility for that one. But it was a nice day, so you had to enjoy. Is there anybody from the public that did not fill out a comment card that would like to speak? Last call. We will then move to standing committee reports. Councilman Frankie.
Redevelopment Commission met on August 25th. Nothing big happened at this meeting, mainly just approved paying some bills. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee met on August 26th. For new business in this meeting, a young lady named Brianna spoke out about the need for a rape crisis center in LaPorte, and she's actually working on forming a 501c3 and opening a center herself. That was kind of the topic of the meeting, and I learned some interesting things surrounding that topic, but the committee is working on making a brochure with the 5 steps of what to do if you are sexually assaulted, and just helping educate individuals on how to handle that if it does happen. The school board is meeting Monday at 6 p.m. That's all I've got.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Traffic Commission will be meeting next Tuesday, September 14th, 6 p.m. at the police station. And then Park Board will be meeting next Wednesday, September 15th, 4 p.m. at the park office.
Councilman Vincent.
Nothing to add this evening.
Councilman Galloway.
Mayor's Veterans Committee will meet next Monday, the 13th, 5 o'clock at the park office. And the Police Merit Commission will meet next Tuesday, the 14th, at the police station at 2 o'clock. And I do have one comment about what Mr. Cager said about the weeds on Pine Lake. I thought the DNR was still taking samples, checking that out to see if they have to retreat it or not.
That'll be a good question for Mr. Schreiber tomorrow during Board of Works. Councilwoman Cutler.
The Business Improvement District Board will meet Monday, September 13th at 5 p.m., and the Urban Enterprise Association Board will meet Wednesday, September 15th at 4 p.m. That's it.
Councilwoman West.
Assistant Chief Burke proposed 2 additional performance rating forms to be used in addition to the current positions, and this was from the Fire Merit meeting. These would be specific to the training chief and the battalion chiefs. The Merit Commission will consider these for adoption at their October meeting. Also, Eric, and I have no idea how to pronounce his last name, so someone could maybe help me with this, Jedrzejczyk. Thank you. Was promoted to the position of training chief. The commission will consider filling the vacancy created in the position of inspector due to Eric's promotion, and this will be at the October meeting. And the commission set a promotional exam review date of September 22nd for the exams that were administered in May. End of report.
Councilwoman Konechny.
The Tree Commission will next meet on September 16th in council chambers at 5 p.m. The HPC will meet next Tuesday, will meet next on Tuesday, September 21st in council chambers at 5:30 p.m. There is an agenda item that will tie back to the HPC later on in the meeting. And finally, the Airport Authority will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, September 8th at 5:15 at the airport.
Thank you. Councilman Vincent, would you like to introduce our next representative or presenter?
Well, I'll be very brief as he wants to come forward. So this evening we have Mike Nelson, the president of LaPorte Pop Warner Football, cheer and dance, and he's got a few comments just about the program and maybe a little presentation to make.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. I just wanted to come and talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike, state your name and address for the record.
Mike Nelson, LaPorte Pop Warner president, 2967 North Larkspur Court, Rolling Prairie. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. I just wanted to speak up a little bit about LaPorte Pop Warner. We've got a great program here. It's right in our hometown, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. So Pop Warner is the largest and oldest football and cheer organization in the United States. LaPorte Pop Warner has been around for over 50 years, and we serve as a feeder program to the high school. We have over 400 athletes and volunteers, 18 total teams, 10 football, 6 cheer, 2 dance. Last season, we passed Valparaiso as the largest program in Indiana. In addition to bringing sport to our athletes, we strive to be active members of our community. We donate to multiple charities, and we volunteer elsewhere in cleanups and services. Pop Warner is the only national youth football program that requires scholastic fitness to participate. In that area, we've excelled. LaPorte Pop Warner has for 4 straight seasons had more academic all-stars than any other association in Indiana and than any other association in our 12-state region. Some recent competitive success that our program has enjoyed. We were able to secure the first National Football Championship tournament berth in the program's 50-year history in 2019. Last year, We rolled multiple defending state championships across several divisions, including another trip to nationals. And our cheerleading squad brought home a national championship last year. Coming into high school, our pipeline of players are gonna have rarely ever lost to Valparaiso, Chesterton, or Michigan City, which is gonna lead to even more success. I personally just want to give a big thanks to Mayor Tom and the entire city, as they've always been huge supporters of what we do, the school officials for allowing us access to facilities and helping us every step of the way, and lastly, the entire city of LaPorte, just for constantly supporting these incredible young athletes. The youth of our community are blessed to have a community that shows so much interest and love for them. It isn't like this everywhere. A couple of weeks ago, we held our first orange and black kickoff party. And Mayor Tom was able to come out and run around and play some flag football with us. And we're not going to talk about the results or injuries or anything like that. But just on behalf of LaPorte Pop Warner, we do have some gifts for you, Tom. And we just appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone. The future of LaPorte is bright, and we're more than happy to do our small part in helping. Our motto at LaPorte Pop Warner is one town, one team. Thank you, guys.
Can I also say, hey, this is a photo op, you know we're not gonna miss this, but I would like to say none of this happens without all the volunteers, coaches, cheerleading coaches, and parents that put this all together. It's an amazing sight to drive by on Sundays at Kessling and see all the work, but we do need an introduction here of these two young
All right,
gentlemen.
So these are two of my sons, Brody Nelson and Ben Nelson, and they've got a few things for you, Mayor.
Well, if we can bring our team around, and we don't mind, Mike and your
Yeah.
wife, we're gonna bring you all up for a photo.
All right.
What did you mean by injury, though? Was somebody injured in the game?
Here we go.
Okay.
He got over it, I think. I think he was faking it to get out of it.
Oh, that's right.
Come on up, guys.
Yeah, they're dressed for success.
Oh, get up here with your kids. All right, we're gonna.
I'm not Nick, yeah.
I know, usually it's Nick and I back here poking each other. Doesn't matter. No, I'm in between. It's pure placement for me. That's all it is.
Coach had to pick them standing back up and they fell down. Yeah, that's all right.
Did you get Maddox?
Of course.
Is that everyone?
I'm not very observant. I miss the whole Vincent family sitting back there. I don't look out there.
Thank you.
I try not to look out in the audience. I never.
Well, again, thank you for your commitment to LaPorte and the opportunity to lead these young people forward. Yeah, and we surpassed Valpo, and beating Michigan City will always be top dog there. All right, another opportunity here on next, mayoral appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. Very excited about this, and this is one board that we do bring my appointment before the board. And as we have transitioned the HPC to more of a promotion and education board, because we have so much to offer for the, from the city of LaPorte, and Laura Konechny as our council representative has done a fantastic job helping coordinate and lead the Historic Preservation Council. But I'll tell you what, we do need volunteers. We need appointments. And I'm proud tonight to announce that we have Anna Weisman. Anna, please come forward. Anna has great experience and is right under the motto of where we're headed with promotion and education. So I'm just going to allow Anna, with your experience that you've had at the Smithsonian and everywhere else, give a little brief history. But once again, thank you for taking on as a board person on the HPC.
Well, thank you so much for the appointment. I'll give you a really brief bio for myself. I'm a social historian. I'm a social scientist by training. I have a PhD in political science from the University of Florida, but my background was mostly, and my work is mostly in social history and historical process tracing. So more history, less contemporary politics. I worked at several local history museums in Gainesville and at special collections at the University of Florida, and then at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., until the pandemic unfortunately closed the institution down. And I found my way somehow to Indiana, to Michigan City, where I've been the curator and research historian at the Barker Mansion since July of 2020. And there, oh God, what do I do? Everything? Let's see. I manage the collection, the archive. A lot of my work is in public history, so building public programming and permanent and temporary exhibits to teach the public about history and what a wonderful city and county we live in. And also, I've been managing a $4.5 million capital investment restoration project of the mansion inside and outside the grounds. So let me say, that's been a crash course in historical restoration. I'm trying to think of what else. And my husband and I, Christy and Ellie, just purchased the Scott Rumley House, 211 Rose. So that this past year has been really helpful in terms of preparing us to have a historic house and to be on the HPC. So I am very excited. We are happy to be back in the Midwest. I grew up on the north side of Chicago. We missed the seasons. And we're happy, excited to get into the community. Chris has already dove headfirst. He's the football coach, one of the football coaches at the high school for the football program. So yeah, I'm very excited to bring my experience and my knowledge to the commission, and I'm ready to work hard for a already beautiful city and a community that's knit together with education and connectedness. So thank you so much for the appointment.
Oh, Anna, we're excited, and Laura Konechny put her through a grueling interview. Laura, any comments that you'd like to add?
No, certainly my time spent with Anna was eye-opening. She brings energy, excitement, and passion to local history. With her background and her extensive knowledge, I think she's going to be a huge asset. She is an experienced grant writer, and she enjoys it. So I think that there might be other commissions that'll be after her hand. We'll keep it clean. But certainly, it was a great conversation that turned into a couple of hours. Really excited for her to join the commission, for her to bring, like I said, her knowledge, but then her passion and her excitement and her energy. To help continue to evolve this current commission, where we could celebrate everything that we have with historical homes, buildings, commercial spaces, highlight those, and hopefully get more involvement. So thank you very much for being receptive to this opportunity. Very excited to work with you, and excited to see what's to come.
Thank you, Anna. Questions for Anna?
Welcome.
Welcome.
An
Thank you.
amazing
Thank you so
resume,
much for
absolutely.
accepting.
We're looking forward to having you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilman Frankie, introduction of a real estate exchange resolution.
Your Honor, I move to introduce the resolution by title only. I don't know if you'd rather do the presentation first, or if you want me to.
Go ahead and do the resolution first.
Okay, so my movement
Second.
stands.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Frankie.
Real estate exchange resolution.
Could you read the first paragraph?
I'd be happy to. This real estate exchange resolution is made this day of 2021 by and between the LaPorte Community School Corporation and the City of LaPorte.
Thank you.
The ordinance doesn't, the statute doesn't require a reading of the full body of a resolution, only an ordinance. So it's appropriate that it be by title only. It's also 22 pages long, and for everyone's sake, I think it's best to watch Mayor Dermody's presentation, which is much more entertaining.
So do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I think you have to.
No, I'm going to hold off I'm going to use my presentation during discussion.
Oh, okay.
So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. And as a part of this, we do have a presentation for the council and the public about what the school system and the city of LaPorte have been working on. Obviously, you know, for some time, the school system has been looking for alternative land to build on for certain projects they may have in mind. And it just so happened, after much discussion, much work over probably the last year, I would say, close to a year. Jerry Jackson, myself, Bert Cook. We have an opportunity for a land swap and working with the school system on a solution to help both parties. And can you see from here? Okay. So what the school corporation will receive: the 12-acre parcel along Boyd Boulevard, Stevens Road, a specific section of property to be agreed upon according to the school corporation needs. So this is out behind basically our wastewater department. And the city's commitment to whatever we build related to housing, that we will engage the building trades and construction of new homes along 18th Street. So what will the City of LaPorte receive? And as you look here, this is the property at 18th and A. As you come along, there's a couple houses there. As you head west along 18th and A great opportunity for buildable lots and some type of housing. And when you look at the type of housing we're talking about that we foresee, next slide, small, family-owned potential housing to put along 18th Street. And then this conceptually will give you the idea of along 18th Street of the potential number of houses that are going to be north of the tree line that you see at 18th and A Street across from the middle school. So everybody familiar there, right along 18th Street. Also, one thing that we found that the wastewater department needed was access to the Torino Pond. We have had flooding in the Fairfield subdivision area for some time. We have homes on the northwest side that we have to address and have been ignored. And now this will give us an opportunity to address that flooding. And this is on the back southwest corner of the open lot at 18th and A, again across from the middle school, which is now, and on your way to Kessling Park. And this is just an example, the access point in the southwest corner of that area that's currently being farmed. You can see the Torino Basin is on the other side of the trees, and that will also give us access there. As well, the city will take ownership of the the current city bus garage. This is something that, again, when we talk about 30 by 30, having 30,000 people by 2030, we need to access as much property as we can that's buildable for potential housing. And as well, if you all know where this is on A Street, the lower half of this bus garage. Jerry Jackson Wastewater has needed this to address flooding issues on, I think, 700 B Street. So the lower half will be to address some of those flooding issues. The upper half, again, potential for housing. And this is just another conceptual design. As you look to the right, which would be A Street, looking west, we'll leave this open area for Jerry for wastewater needs, and then potential housing where the current bus garage sits. And then finally, something here, this is the Koch building. And the Koch building, the school system is looking to move the different departments that are there out of that department, move those, and this will be an opportunity to take hold of this building. It will not be for at least 24 months, but this building could be a great access for training, workforce training. You know, we talk about skilling up and we need these opportunities. This building could provide that, or some potential housing inside. It's a large building, so there's a couple options there. But again, the Koch building will not, we would not take that over for 24 months because the school system's still going to need that. And again, this is an opportunity, the land swap to make room for housing opportunities, allowing the city of LaPorte to take the next step in our goal by 30 by 30. And it also allows the school corporation to move their bus garage potentially to a location that makes sense for them, and more importantly, the residents in the city that were struggling with the consideration of the bus garage in the city. So we even got one right here today. And move that out to off of Boyd there, and get it out of the way of neighborhoods and so forth. So that is the agreement. This agreement will not be valid until the school corporation would support and pass it at next week's school board meeting. If for some reason they would make changes, and I know they have an executive session, I believe, this evening, and if they would decide to make any changes next week at the school board meeting, we would bring this back before the council on the 20th for review of those changes. So that was the brief kind of breakdown and layout for what the school swap would be. Are there any questions? And Mr. Councilman Galloway.
I like the swap. I think we'll do fine. But I got a question on, well, the bus has been parked and been worked on for years. Now, Jerry said they had some kind of preliminary testing on it. Just how polluted is it going to be? I mean, until we rush into anything, could happen to Newport Landing, all the millions it's cost us out there.
Jerry, I didn't know if, you know, we've had discussion, but Nick Minnick's kind of handling the lead, but if you want to talk about the lower half of the bus garage.
There was a phase one done on the site, so it doesn't look like there's reason to think there's major contamination. I mean, you're right, it's been used to serve for buses, but it's always had sewer, and there's an underground storage tank for diesel, but that's not leaking. They've had that inspected, so there's pretty good reason to think that the environmental cleanup will be limited, if any.
Sounds good.
And there's also a fund, I believe, that can be used to the removal.
That is correct. The underground storage tanks, I've got a couple at the treatment plant. You pay into a fund, a state fund, and if there's a leak to have clean out, it can pull out of that fund.
And Jerry, while we have you, the lower half of B Street, how important that is, or of the bus garage for B Street, and then of 18th and A?
The B Street is at an elevation that it's so low that whole area is drained by the combined sewer system. But it's so low that if we opened drains up to the combined sewer system, it would backflow and it would flood the street with combined sewage, which would be really bad. The area is all peat, so you can't soak the water into the ground. So we need a place to take that water, temporarily store it. Eventually, we're gonna have a pathway to get that all the way out to Boyd Boulevard. In the short run, it'll go back into the combined sewer system at a slow rate, so we don't overload it. And now when there's a rain, there'll be water standing literally until we get out there and pump it out. So for hours and hours, there can be water standing in the streets, and this will enable us to solve that.
Further questions for Jerry Jackson? Thank you.
Um,
Other questions from the council?
Just to clarify, because it wasn't in your presentation, but it is in the resolution, is Scott Field also a part of this?
Correct.
Okay. Just
And
making
that was more just cleaning up what makes sense, that renting for $1 versus it's our park, we should be responsible for it, and put it back under the park department.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, you touched on this, but the intentions, and I know it's not set in stone, but the intentions of the new placement of the bus barn, can you repeat what you had said?
Sure, well, and I'm gonna have Jerry, if you don't mind, it's his land,
Jerry.
Exactly where that bus garage will go.
We've got about 100 acres of farm ground on the east side of the treatment plant. I guess you'd say behind, away from Boyd Boulevard. This land would be slightly south of what you see of the treatment plant when you come by. We purchased all that land. There was a plan to do a park back there with the DNR, and that fell through. But the land's been very valuable for us for land application disposal of our solids. We have more than we need for land application because we don't produce that much solids. So that 12 acres, from my viewpoint, I'm gonna be able to solve a couple flooding problems in exchange for 12 acres of farm ground they're useful, but not as useful as in-town low ground where I can store groundwater or stormwater.
Thank you.
Jerry,
That
I
answer.
It
think
did,
we
so a
have a
non-residential
Jerry, we
setting.
have the survey here.
think we have a survey, it might help,
Yeah, do you,
if you could take,
We were able to.
I don't know if it's, oh, let's see.
might at least help to show the area.
Coming on Boyd Boulevard from in town, going over to 35, it's this piece right here. So it's not just.
Different
a
piece.
road.
It moves slightly.
It moves
Telephone
slightly.
game.
Thank
It
you.
moves slightly, okay.
I wanted it to show.
That's the spot the mayor showed me.
Just kept going.
Yeah, if you're coming from town, say Monroe Manor, and going over to Highway 35, there's the treatment plant, the office building, the dome next to the road, it's back there.
Called telephone. Thanks, Jerry.
Further questions for Jerry? Or in general? Board of Works will be voting on this tomorrow as well. So with no further discussion, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Other business?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever get any approval for the money we were going to let the park department have from the federal? Have you
Baker
heard?
Tilly is in the process.
Oh, you haven't heard yet then?
They're still vetting, they have, they have to make sure all the i's are dotted
Okay.
and t's are crossed before, because if they don't vet and we end up spending that money, then we have to pay it back if it's not an approved expense. So we just
Right.
want to make 100% sure first before we.
Okay.
Other business?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.